Morning, everyone, and welcome to our Heavenly Parent Holy Community Oceania Morning Hundoke. And today we have Reverend Takaaki Ito presenting on this Thursday, the 2nd of April, 2026, or the 15th of February in the 14th year of Chongalguk. Thank you all for coming, and let's begin with a bow to our true parents of heaven, earth, and humankind. Chanji Tumpuninge. Chambare, Pado. And let's recite our family pledge, both in Korean and English.
가존맨세 8. 천일국 주인, 우리 가족은 참사랑을 중심하고 천일국 시대를 맞이하여 절대 신앙, 절대 사랑, 절대 복종으로 신의 일제 이상을 이루어 지산천국과 천산천국의 해방권과 속방권을 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다.
Family pledge number 8. Our family, the owner of Chongalguk, pledges having entered the era of Chongalguk to achieve the ideal of God and human beings united in love through absolute faith, absolute love, and absolute obedience, and to perfect the realm of liberation and complete freedom in the kingdom of God on earth and in heaven by centering on true love. Thank you, and I'd like to share Father's prayer called Please Enlighten Us in this hour that Father gave on the 10th of March 1957. Heavenly Parent, we know that at this time it will not do unless our minds and bodies resemble you completely. So please embrace us to your eternal bosom, and in order to realize your will, please let us inherit your heart, which has loved billions of people. And please allow us to realize that this is the time when we must appear with hearts like yours. This land is the land where you toiled and shed blood. And because we know that this land is the land where humankind went the difficult path of the cross, the land where the people of the world went the course of Golgotha. Heavenly Father, please lead us to come to realize by ourselves what kind of situation we are facing today. If we are going to acknowledge that we are following the footsteps of Jesus' 30-year life of suffering, then please lead us to clearly understand what kind of environment we are living in and what we must hope for and desire. At this time when the remaining battle of the cross has come right before our eyes, as individuals we know that we must have hearts which are aware that they can push aside all these sufferings and enmities, so heaven, please have pity on us at this time. Please lead us to feel our unworthiness and guide us to feel our inadequacy by ourselves. And we earnestly hope and desire that you will allow this time to become a time when we can shed tears of anguish in front of you, Heavenly Father, lamenting our own incompleteness, asking you to take dominion over all things. We have humbly prayed in the name of the Lord, Arju. Thank you. And before we welcome up Reverend Ito, I'd like to share this praise song. So please enjoy.
지난 3월 9일에 참어머님 면회 때 고맙소를 직접 불러드렸는데
when I was able to meet Mother in the detention center, I was able to sing her this song. I still remember that time, and also at this time, I will offer this song 고맙소 to True Mother. And with everybody hearts united, let us all sing together, offering this for our True Mother.
고맙소 고맙소 늘 사랑하오 있던 그날 밤 손등에 눈물을 떨굴 때 내 손을 감싸며 괜찮아 울어준 사람 세상이 등져도 날아서 함께 할 거라고 등 뒤에 번지던 눈물이 참 뜨거웠어 이 나이 되어서 그래도 당신을 만나서 고맙소 고맙소 늘 사랑하고 못난 날 만나서 긴 세월 고생만 시킨 사람 이런 사람이라서 미안하고 아픈 사람 나 당신을 위해 살아가겠소 남겨진 세월도 함께 갑시다 고맙소 고맙소 늘 사랑 감사합니다.
Thank you, and let's welcome up Reverend Takaaki. Thank you.
Morning, everyone. Share my screen. Today I'd like to share a true father speech on time and our destiny relationship. It was given on April 2nd, 1978 at the World Mission Center. Everyone is born as a baby. Everyone goes through childhood, becomes a young adult, and then an adult. This is true for a nation as well as individuals, and is also true for the Unification Church. What are the criteria for judging which individual, nation, and church has acquired great stature during the course of its existence? Whether in the case of an individual, a nation, or a church, the first thing needed is a clear-cut goal, because without it, time is always wasted in meaningless wandering. In college, a person decides what subject he is going to major in, for without having this objective, his 4 years will be ill spent. Once you complete elementary school, you have a chance to go on to junior high school and to go on to higher education. Normally, about 21 years are needed to get a PhD. 6 years in elementary school, 6 years in high school, 4 years in college, 2 years for a master's degree, and 3 years for a PhD. That is a long time to invest in study, but depending on how much goal-oriented effort you invest, you can economize on precious time and still accomplish the same thing. Some individuals can accomplish the same task in 18 years, or some in 15 or even 10 years. It all depends on the individual's determination and effort. The most important thing is that you are the one to conquer time instead of time conquering you. Time is definitely needed in order to reach a certain goal, and like a container, that time should be filled with effort. Time becomes purposeful when you fill it in with energy and effort, truly investing your heart and soul. Where do you find the motivation and energy to put your heart and soul into that time? There are two sources of motivation and energy. Either external pressure will inspire you to do certain things, or internal burning zeal and realization will push you to the goal. Which one is the most effective? Indeed, the internal realization is the most important. Once you have this zeal inside, then you don't need anything else. You will move toward the goal regardless. What is at the heart of motivation? Money can be a central motivation and honor another. The genuine central motivation, however, should be a heartfelt awareness which comes from the spiritual center of your being. Where can we find this divine noble power of love and soul which thrusts us into action? A reciprocal relationship will always motivate you. For example, the relationship between parents and children, or husband and wife. The power of love can always be seen when there is a circuit. Even in speaking of love, there are different circumstances and atmospheres, sometimes good and sometimes bad. Love has a power to motivate, particularly under adverse conditions. In an atmosphere of difficulty, love is ignited and gives much stronger power for you to push to the ultimate goal. For example, you may have parents who give you tremendous love, but perhaps without doing anything wrong, they become involved in a fight or plot and are victimized and killed. You know that your parents did nothing wrong, and even though you are young and cannot fight back at the moment, you feel that 10 years later you will avenge and vindicate them. There is a powerful motivation for action under adverse conditions. If lovers face some obstacle which prevents the consummation of their love, then the motivation to overcome it is so strong that there is practically nothing they cannot overcome. Let's consider a higher level of love. If your country is in difficulty or in crisis, then your desire to give yourself to save that nation is your motivation. Trying to resolve the difficulty of your nation will spur you on to heighten leadership. This principle works the same way in religion. God, God is goal oriented and wants to go straight ahead without wasting any time, taking the shortest possible way. Often there are two ways to reach a target, but the shortest way involves going over more difficulties. You know that reaching the goal will be difficult, yet when you are motivated and your anxiety to reach the goal is unbearably strong, it will push you through like a tidal wave. When you clash with difficulty, there is bound to be some loss or casualty, yet that will never deter you. It will spur you on even more. Imagine that in combat you are fighting as a commander to take certain hill where there are terrible casualties. Instead of retreating, when you see that so many comrades have died because of that hill, you will be even more determined to finally achieve that goal. That's the way a commander should feel. This analogy is applicable to God's way of looking at religion. God saw many Jews and Christians being sacrificed, coming through bloody battle after bloody battle. Why does God allow this to happen, and what does he feel? He feels just like the infantry commander, and his strategy is to have an explosion of love to push through to the end. He wants to have an explosion of love, a burst of passion, erupt from such circumstances. In any religion which goes through bloodshed and martyrdom, there is always a dramatic explosion of love and faith that will never be dulled. Those members experience an intimate love and camaraderie and love of God, which binds them together in an ironclad and explosively strong relationship. There is a power dwelling in that religion. God never plans an everyday, lukewarm way of doing things. It is his strategy to push history along a dramatic path, which will have an explosive result. In that kind of movement, each member is closely knitted in love to the others, and if one member dies or is sacrificed, he leaves a will which says, I am now dying, but don't give up. I want you to go ahead and fulfill. After you have seen a dying comrade leave that kind of will for you, just thinking of that scene will bring tears rolling down your face. Then you will feel tremendous power and think, yes, leave it to me. I will fulfill your purpose and mine together. Even when you try to go to bed and sleep comfortably, you will feel, I have a mission, not only mine, but my brother's as well. I will accomplish mine and fulfill his as well. That kind of stimulation will always be with you. It is not just going on your own journey, but having comrades going with you toward the same destiny that makes you strong. Why do we really need religious affiliation? We could just have social acquaintances, but why is simple friendship not enough? Horizontal friendship does not include God. God is always there when you are motivated for the public purpose, for a greater cause. As soon as you are motivated in that way, God always becomes subject to you. If you really cry out for the mission and public purpose, for mankind and for God, then God is always there, responding in the same way. When you are burning with love for humanity, then God is a subject because He is the center of such feelings. Because your feelings parallel His, you can link yourself to God in that situation. In a horizontal world, you will not find this comradeship or public-minded love and sacrificial sense of duty. Only God can be your vertical comrade. If you really know God, then you will feel his company is superior to everyone's, better than love of parents, better than love of husband and wife or of brothers and sisters. God is supreme in love. And only after you know this love to the depth of yourself can you feel how wonderful it is. In that supreme love, you know that God is telling you to not give up, but to just go right ahead because you will win. If you get that kind of encouragement every day, how can you fail? How much will that spur you on, motivating you to truly put your entire heart and soul into the mission and hold nothing back? When you are spurred on it in a goal-oriented way of life, God will become more intimate, giving greater inspiration day by day and serving as your source of energy. With God watching over you, you will receive daily guidance, being shown how the enemy is aiming at you and where to hide. If you have that intimate relationship with God, can you say that you are tired or collapsed in the middle of the road? It would be impossible to even entertain the notion. We need a subject and we need a reciprocal relationship between that subject and ourselves. In your family life, there is always subject and object, as well as in the nation. But the greatest of all subjects is God. By making a relationship with that God, you can be spurred on to your ultimate eternal goal. That is what we call religion. Religion is the art of making yourself related to God as the ultimate source of love. God has unlimited power, and wherever the public mind of God is responding to his object, there is always an overflow of energy coming from him. Do you think God is looking forward to seeing just everyday life or to seeing some dramatic confrontation and breathtaking circumstance? Do you think some ritual prayer in the morning or before meals will reach God faster? Or a showdown prayer about the destiny of the world? Is God drawn to the millions and billions of people who just pass through each day? Or to you when you have a showdown? Have you experienced such a showdown prayer saying, God, I will go on. I will even bypass you and never give up. God is truly the champion of acceleration, adding speed all the time. Do you want to procrastinate and put your job off or go quickly forward? Some power has to be added in order for you to accelerate and have no time to do anything else. If someone pushed a big, clumsy fellow from behind, he wouldn't pick up speed but would fall down instead. But if you are ready to go like a bullet and someone pushes you, then you will fly. Would you like to fly down the fairway like a golf ball when it is whacked by a club? If the ball is very soft like chewing gum, then what happens? Instead of flying, it will just flop over, flat on one side. But if the ball is hard instead, then no matter how much power is added to it, it will not flop over, but it will take off. You should be the kind of man or woman who can say, no matter what kind of hardship comes or what kind of difficulty hits me, I will not change. I am like a solid ball, and hardship will make me even more solid. The mission of a soccer ball is to be kicked everywhere or bounced on someone's head. The more power that is added to it, and the farther it is kicked, the more it will fulfill its mission. Picture a soccer ball soaring through the air across the field with a champion waiting at the other end. Should the ball try to avoid falling down because it knows the champion will kick it, or will it the ball to look forward to being kicked far away again? Is the ball looking forward to a master performance or a poor performance? God is the same way, anticipating something extraordinary. God is really an exciting God, never dull, and He always likes fresh new things and situations. He is variety minded, not single minded. If you appreciate beauty and art and you look at this curtain here, which is one simple color, would you call it a masterpiece of art? Imagine a big frame with all the combinations of colors inside. You would appreciate it more and be astonished at its variety. God is the same. Do we need God? If you want to live a normal life, then you don't need God. If that is your desire, He's not going to do anything for you. Are you serious, people? What makes you so serious? Look what happened in history. Satan came into being, the spiritual enemy who ruined the kingdom, killed the father, and took away the mother, raping her and giving birth to the worst kind of children. The mother has been kidnapped, the father killed, and all the children on the heavenly side killed, and nothing remains. That's the realistic situation of human history. You are serious because you know that love is lost. Your heart says, I am supposed to be the master of love, the owner of the love which will consume the entire universe. I am supposed to be the center of that love, and the power of that love is God. We are serious because we must find that love again. We must feel, I must revenge my father and brothers and sisters and mother. When you grow closer to God and really know Him, you feel as a child who lost his father and mother and brothers and sisters. You want to have a revenge and restore everything. This is the real story of mankind. Why did you come here in the early morning? You came to receive stimulation and encouragement to go out as a champion of God's love and avenge the ultimate historical wrongdoing. Why can I receive so much incredible persecution without it bothering me or slowing me down? This is no other force strong enough to bother me because I have the ultimate stimulation from God. Everything fell apart because of the fall of man. Yet nothing in this world will do can bother me because love is the source of all. I'm here to restore that fallen love into the original love. And I want to restore the original father and mother and brothers and sisters. God knows that I am a champion to avenge the historical defeat of goodness. There is nothing that bothers me, even one iota, no matter what the opposition or sacrifice. It will never deter me one bit. My past is full of danger and suspense, but still I can go on. By following in this spirit and tradition, the Unification Church will prosper because that is the way God is. When you think of God's own position and heart, then God will never let you down, no matter how difficult life may be. We are destined to strive for that relationship. We are going to meet the worst enemy who took love. But where will we meet in him and force a showdown? That enemy is waiting for you at every level. You meet and overcome that enemy as an individual, and then you find him hiding to ambush your family and society. At every level, you must be alert to meet that enemy and conquer him. Wherever you go to avenge that lost love, there will be a battle and confrontation. Everywhere you go, there will be bloodshed and sacrifice. Satan knows that there is one person and one group of champions who will ultimately declare victory, and he is trying with all his might to stop us. If you go to the place where you are being attacked with a determination not to give up, but to leave a legacy to your brothers and sisters so they can go on, how can you ever feel need to take rest? How could you even think of giving up? Is your mind really determined to go all the way to the end? Of course, we have physical bodies and we sometimes get tired. But even at that moment, when you think of the enemy of love and of being God's champion, you will suddenly find yourself wide awake. If each of us is motivated by one central determination and competes to go to the farthest ahead, whether or not we face great difficulties or have only small numbers, then in the sight of God, it will be something beautiful and magnificent to behold. I know very well that life in Unification Church is not easy. You suffer and are persecuted and you make sacrifices, but still I will push you to go farther. No matter how much you suffer, the tremendous value of the reward which will come to you has greater meaning. Actually, your suffering is very small no matter how much you think you suffer. It is negligible compared to the suffering of God. For your small suffering, the reward is incredibly big. In just a few years following 1971, I caused tremendous turmoil here in America. Controversy is rampant because more than anyone else, Satan knows who I am. And as soon as I show up, Satan's front is entirely mobilized. It is destined that I face worst kind of satanic counterattack, and I expect it wherever I go. If I fell under enemy attack and died, I would not leave a trivial life behind. I would die for the sake of the love of God, and the universe would know that I fought only for that purpose. I never worked for money in America or with greed for the power of America. I came to avenge and restore the love of God by liquidating the enemy of God's love. It is a realistic battle I am engaged in. Do you feel you are in that battle yourself? You must feel that you have to win this battle against the enemy of love. Once I win, then I will have restored the heavenly individual, family, society, nation, and world. If I am defeated, then nothing will come after me. We each have a destined relationship because we were born to avenge God's love. Think that God's destiny and your father and mother's destinies are in your hands to be restored. They have been oppressed and are waiting for this one day of the fulfillment of love, and that whole providence is in your hands. Can you not be serious when you realize that everything is up to you? That means that there is no area you can overlook. You have to reach out everywhere. It is not enough for me to be leader of one church. God is asking me to really change the world, not just lead one church. No matter what I touch, Satan knows that he must be there to block my advance. When I started the fishing industry, opponents gathered to try to block me. We are making a movie about General MacArthur, and the communists are trying to discredit us. There's always a reaction to anything I touch. Anyone else can do these things and no one bothers them. But as soon as I become involved, the entire world rises up. All throughout my life, I have wanted to vindicate the love of God and God's suffering heart of history. That's the way I have always walked. I set the 21-year course in which I pledged to have a showdown with the enemy of love, God's enemy. No one in history has accomplished that task, but I am pursuing it and I am winning. During this period, the entire world has been shaken, with a free world tumbling down and a communist world rising up. A hurricane is blowing all over the world because the time has come for God's love to be avenged. At the end of World War II, America's dignity, particularly that of white people, was at an all-time high, shining like the sun. But now it has sunk down to the ground and become like dirt. That's the present reality because God had to prepare the atmosphere. Otherwise, I could not have come and launched my revolutionary task. Think of how Americans despised Koreans and Asians in general 50 years ago. If that kind of spirit and atmosphere had persisted until now, no Asian leader, not even Reverend Moon, could have come to this country and make a dent. God has really revolutionized the atmosphere. You may not know this too well, but there was a time when Asians were treated almost like animals by Americans, and the general arrogance of white people was incredible. Americans learned about Asia through phrases like, "She and the Chinese are coming." This whispered when a child was noisy. How could I ever accomplish anything here if those attitudes prevail? Look at how America has become morally corrupt. It's like a dirty mop. God created the kind of situation in which America definitely needs help. And when I come with a solution, people won't care where I come from. If America's pride was still like a big balloon, like this nation would never pay attention to me. But God has changed that. Many people think Reverend Moon is attacking America, but that's not true. I'm only telling the truth about how sick America is. I came as a doctor to diagnose the disease, and the first medication is repentance. What's wrong with that? Why am I doing this? The degradation of America is a result of Satan's work, and I have come to crush God's enemy. In order to do that, I have come to turn this society around, and I have given my life to this. I'm vindicating the invisible God in heaven, but your job is easy. You are vindicating the visible true parents here on earth. That's the way we work together, and in that we have one common destiny. These 21 years are most precious, and many dramatic events are resulting from this course. Communism, for example, has expanded and become powerful, convinced it can conquer the world, but you will see that even communism will decline. The communist nations are supposed to be one family, but the European communist leaders are saying they should have human rights and follow their own destinies instead of following Moscow. In Spain and France, they want to be independent, not have anyone in Moscow dictating policy to them. The Russian communist leaders thought that in a few years they could conquer the world, but their plans aren't working out. Even though such a cause would be unpopular in America, an anti-communist movement should spring up and confront communism now. Initially, I wanted to do everything through the white leaders of this country, but they remain arrogant and have closed minds and hearts. Therefore, I must go in some other direction. That does not mean I will neglect white people. By doing this, I will eventually save them. As the second generation of white people in the province, you are a good example and proof of my intentions. The first generation has come against me, but you, their children, are being saved. You came and supported me, a living demonstration of how God's will is always fulfilled through the second generation. From this time on, more and more white members will come to the Unification Church. God gave me the children of my worst enemies. That is a way to get revenge against the enemy of love. What is the difference between God's champion and Satan's champion? Satan took God's children and killed them, but I am taking Satan's children to save them. Never in history have parents kidnapped their own children. That is new in our time, and is good proof of the significance of our work in the Unification Church. Hatred of me in the world is far greater than that of the worst criminals and gangsters, because those who oppose me know that I am a real threat to them. From childhood, my life was filled with one hectic event after another. Whenever I went to another village, there was always some unexpected, surprising event, like a horse dying or a house collapsing or a big fire sweeping the town. This was my destiny because wherever I go, Satan is always after me. God's front line is Satan's front line. So when I came to America, Satan's front line came to America's too. I chose this nation as my battlefield because here I could have worldwide impact. I chose a territory and challenged Satan to fight me here. When I say we are waging war, I do not mean we are killing people, but declaring the truth. That's what I did at Madison Square Garden, Yankee Stadium, and Washington Monument. That's the way I wage war. No individual in the entire history of America, whether a religious or political leader, including the president, has undertaken such great city by city crusades as I have. Americans thought they could not afford to have me here, but now they cannot afford to ignore me. Yesterday, the Frontier 78 teams came back to report, and I took them out for a victory celebration. The leaders of the three teams said that the interest in me all over America is incredible. They said that people paid attention to them because they were associated with Reverend Moon, but not as much attention as they're paying to Reverend Moon himself. If you show up, they told me, the entire United States will turn upside down. They are demanding to know when you will come again. Where is such? Why is there so much interest in me? Why is there such so much interest in me? The establishment has to oppose me because I'm revolutionary. I'm bringing change, and no one who feels secure likes abrupt change. But in the depth of their hearts, they know that I'm bringing a new spiritual spring, and they have to pay attention. Do you want to vindicate God? People outside our church know that we have meetings at 5:30 a.m. They think that of course everyone has to be pushed out of their rooms to hear me speak, and that when I speak, everyone sleeps because they are not interested. Maybe in the audience, one of our opponents is watching to see how I deal with you young people. And when he sees someone sleeping, he will think his opinion was correct. Whatever we do is watched, not only by God, but by Satan. Many members wonder why they can't take it easier and come at 10 a.m. instead. I said this tradition because we must be different from the world at large and be able to do something everyone else can't do. Also, the world is sleeping now and doesn't have any power to come oppose us. When everyone else gets up and goes to church, the Unification Church is already finished with its service, and then they think the Unification Church doesn't even have a Sunday service. Let them think that way. We are fighting force to vindicate the love of God. We are here as chosen champions to destroy the historic enemy of God and to vindicate God's love. We are here to avenge the love of God and to avenge everyone's mother and father, brothers and sisters, the nation and the kingdom. All enemies of love are our own one enemy. So all we have to do is conquer the one enemy of love. One particular historical enemy destroyed the first love, and that same enemy has destroyed the love of God, the love of parents and brothers and sisters, realizing heavenly love everywhere. If there's a way to really bring revenge and vindicate God, then I will go anywhere to meet the enemy and create a showdown. I came to America to meet the enemy here. As a leading nation, America can give good or bad influence to the whole world. But today, American young people's moral degradation is exerting only bad influence. Satan is fearfully active here in America, and in order to meet him, I came to America and waged a war to vindicate the love of God. With its free sex, trafficking, drugs, and moral degradation, American society has been reduced to less than that of animals. There is no ethical code here. Only in the Unification Church have we restored God's moral standard, living a strict puritanical way of life because that is God's way. By living God's moral code, we are already routing the enemy of love. We were born for this destiny. We cannot escape or negate that mission. I was supposed I was opposed by the entire nation of Korea, but I survived because I was determined to penetrate all the way to the universal level. Japan came against me and all America, but that didn't bother me. I cannot falter because I still have more to do, and I cannot afford to falter or fail at this time. When I pray, all I have to say is, God in heaven, your Son is here, going ahead with boldness and strength today. And tears come. I am a serious person. Don't ever think I take life easily or comfortably, or that I want to have plush surroundings. Never. Every day I want to work as hard as possible. I don't ever want to go to bed before 1 or 2 o'clock, and I want to be up working and praying at night more than anyone else, even spending entire nights in prayer. I have no easy nights. I am determined to conquer the enemy of God, and my determination is burning every moment of every day. If I cannot finish this in my lifetime, I want you to take over. I will leave my will with you and trust that you will go on. For the sake of this mission, I can forget everything. Sleeping, eating, daytime and nighttime. I completely lose track of all these things. I know only one important thing. There is one person in the universe who works harder than I do, and that is God. There is one competition I cannot win, and that is the competition with God. The destiny of imprisoning God's enemy is ours. We have to inherit that mission. I know that we have not yet reached the time of relaxation and celebration because we have not yet achieved enough to take it easy. This is still a state of emergency. Whenever I will need a tombstone, I want it to say, "Here is the Son of God, the champion who avenged his love." I don't want it to be recorded as a person who spoke at Washington Monument or Yankee Stadium and who traveled all over the world making speeches in many cities. All of those achievements were merely the method to achieve one victory. How much you are dedicated and giving your heart and soul, how serious you are about the mission is a measure of the kind of heaven you deserve and of what kind of eternal life you will have. I like spy movies and war movies with heroic action that show determination to fulfill one goal. I don't like sweet romantic scenes because I feel I haven't come to that point yet. We are in a battle, and I want to see a movie that will inspire me to keep striving for victory. No movie, however, has described the ultimate scene that I have to fulfill the revenge of love for the sake of God. I want you to know that our enemy, Satan, is a historical enemy who destroyed the Garden of Eden by conquering Adam and Eve. But that is not the only thing Satan did. He destroyed the realization of God's ideal kingdom by redirecting the dispensation of Cain and Abel, the dispensation of Abraham, Jacob, Moses, and Jesus, each providence in history. Satan is after everyone. Satan has been winning throughout all these 6,000 years of biblical history. So, of course, he said, "Remember, you are only a green onion. You are no match for me." That's the way Satan looked at me initially. But when the match began, he took a beating with each round. And now, finally, Satan has quit his fight with me. I caught him and demanded that he surrender. I watched persecution came in the year 1976, persecution that heated up on the worldwide level. The big boxing match was staged at the Washington Monument rally. You have no idea how serious I was during that campaign period. I was on the ocean because there was no other place where I could isolate myself. The fishing boat was not what I saw, however, but Washington Monument. I could not go down to the cabin and have a good night's sleep. I was always on the deck, watching and concentrating totally on the coming rally. Some members on the boat would go to the cabin to rest because they didn't have my seriousness. They didn't feel what I felt. I could not do that. Many times I wanted to go to the bathroom, but all of a sudden I found myself doing it in the wrong place. I was totally unaware of what was happening around me at the time. I felt I would rather die than to be defeated at Washington Monument. I was more serious than a prisoner who is about to be brought up for execution. It was a great gamble in which one toss would determine the destiny of the world, in which the moment one card was lifted, destiny of all mankind would be determined. That was a gamble Washington Monument was. Any number of things could have made that event a failure, a total fiasco. Always the final possibility of grief was having bad weather. Early on the morning of the rally and on the previous day there was rain. Do you think I could ever forget the rain of June 1st? After the rain at Yankee Stadium, I immediately determined that there would be another rally in the next 80 days at Washington Monument on September 18. Having a Washington Monument so soon after Yankee Stadium was an impossible task, and from a normal point of view, it was a great blunder. If done in the usual way, there could never have been a victory. I knew what consequences would result from that defeat at Washington Monument, disaster for the Unification Church, for the destiny of God's world, for the world in our time. No one knew better than I, but God knew, and I also knew that there should be an entire mobilization of God's forces. Washington Monument was a success, and furthermore, it was a peaceful victory with no sacrifice and no bloodshed. It was a beautiful victory in which law and order was kept, and no one was hurt. After that victory, the entire world looked at me differently. Then began the 3 year period of 1976, 77, and 78. By the end of that September, heated government harassment began, like the battle now going on in Congress. One way or another, all of that will be over by September of this year. The government has investigated Unification Church and its members inside and out countless times, but after September comes, even if we ask for one more investigation, they will back off and refuse. They can't put any teeth in all the allegations made against us. After September, they will know that all the allegations about me are lies, and no one will believe any new allegations that come along. Everything is within God's strategy. These investigators think they are doing their own job, but actually they are doing God's work. God lets the satanic world come and investigate everything so that it has to give us a clean bill of health. And once we receive it, then even Satan will be powerless to do anything more. This year is a year to be bold and strong. There is a key idea. Like David, we are coming against Goliath. The Unification Church is in the ring to initiate a showdown battle. This is not just a skirmish or a guerrilla attack, but an all-out fight in every sense. God has picked New York as a battlefield for the historical war. In this battle, would you like to be a combat soldier or a soldier behind the lines? You can be in the artillery as a machine gunner and come out on the battlefront and fire away while your comrades bring you your ammunition. Or you can take pictures of all this exciting action and be a spectator of the whole show. Which would you rather be? So that is the end of presentation today. There's more in the speech, but I stop here because of time. And I think it's the same uh, speech given a few years ago, but I think we are in the same situation right now, also in Korea, with True Mother and all these court cases. And I think, like True Mother said, the truth will be revealed. And the same thing True Father said when he was about to go and also get in Danbury prison. So all of this, the same situation, the same spirit, and same mindset, True Father and True Mother. And we think we should always also get this, like True Father said, always this mindset to always fight against Satan, and always understand that we have to always fulfill true parents' will, and ourselves we have to also understand and also embody God's dream to fulfill it in our life and in our family, our nation, and the world also. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Wow, such another great speech. Well, just stop there. There you go. Such another great speech you found from Father, your time and our destiny relationship you gave in 1978. And like you said, the it's so much what he's saying there applies directly today. Really, we need to make sure that we don't waste our time. Father said there, the shortest way is always more difficulty, and it's up to us to go through it. And also mentioned about the second gen. God works through the second gen, and because they are the future, and really, it's a parallel. What's happening then and now, and we need to really succeed this time, and let's hope that our collective effort, talked about zeal and motivation and the love, explosion of love. There's so much we need to do to carry out God's will, because the whole message is explaining how Father carried out God's will. He said nobody worked harder than him except God. And we need to recognize it's the same with Mother. No one's working harder than Mother, and we need to step up and be able to work harder. So thank you very much. It was a great speech, and if there's anyone else likes to make a comment, please do. Yes, Mr. Roy, go ahead.
Good morning. Thank you again today. And yes, and the time and our destiny of relationship, actually time is limited, and a certain time of the two parents. And example, our life, I came here 47 years. 47 years been here, and our time. And what I said, I think when we are working hard, sacrifice, but we cannot compare two parents. And two parents said, two parents, it's a difficult to sacrifice life, but cannot compare to God. That's a true story. And not easy to digest. It's such a incredible, I think, Father's investment in Washington Times, and we can really remember again, reflect again, and so they got revenge or avenge for the entire providence. That is incredible God mission, and we are thankful we could involve, and we're grateful. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. It is time now to offer our unison prayer. So I'll just bring up the screen. Yes. And let's pray together. Jew, Jew. Thank you, everyone. Thank you again, Reverend Tagaki, for sharing with us. And I hope everyone has a good day and see you all again tomorrow. Thank you. Okay, bye-bye.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye.
For
Thank
this
you,
this
Reverend
morning.
Takaki.